the Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida. This is episode 18B of the Finding Florida podcast on the Florida Podcast Network. Festivals galore, from Sun and Fun Fly-In to the Hatsume Fair.
We hope you're ready for an adventure.
Welcome to Finding Florida, the podcast that takes you from country to the coast. Join your tour guides, an unlikely pair, city girl Jaime and country boy Glenn, as they explore the amazing sights and sounds of the Sunshine State.
Last month, we explored workations at the PodFest Multimedia Expo in Orlando. If you missed it, go back and take a listen to episode 17. Florida also has its share of festivals, fairs, and art shows. One of the biggest events in Florida is the second largest air show in the world, the Sun and Fun International Fly-In in the lovely town of Lakeland. Glenn had a chance to check it out and bring us some amazing sound interviews, and he may have done something just a little crazy.
Just a little. Plus, we had a chance to go together to the largest Japanese festival in Florida, the Hatsume Fair in Delray Beach. We met an old friend from a previous episode, and I got an education in anime and the subculture that goes along with it.
And don't forget that the pictures and videos of all of our escapades for this episode are found in our show notes at findingfloridapodcast.com and on all our social media.
Let's get this show on the road, or in the air, as the case may be.
Flight. The feeling of exhilaration and anticipation when you lift off the ground and break through the clouds. It was that feeling that inspired the Wright brothers, Amelia Earhart, Bessie Coleman, Neil Armstrong, to shatter boundaries and explore frontiers that others thought were impossible. For over 40 years, we have been sharing that incredible feeling of flight at the annual Sun and Fun International Fly-In and Expo. It is what drove us to grow from a small group of aviation enthusiasts to one of the largest conventions in the world.
Well, hi, everybody. I am on my way to the Sun and Fun Fly-In in Lakeland, Florida, the second largest air show. I'm so excited. I've been to air shows all over the place and love air shows. So I'm so excited about this. This might be the first adventure that I go on without Jaime. So we're going to see how that goes. I'll see what kind of fun interviews I can get for you today. Lakeland is between Orlando and Tampa on Route 4. It's an absolutely beautiful day. Some high wispy clouds. Beautiful day for an air show. This morning, it should be visiting vendors and checking out all the airplanes that have flown in. A lot of people bring their private planes in and set up just like a car show where they show off their planes. So I'm sure I'll be able to find some fun interviews there. And then this afternoon, they actually do the air show. So I should be able to get some cool sound from that. There's a press conference the first thing this morning with the Blue Angels are flying in, and they're doing a press conference with the Blue Angels. So I'm hoping to get to the press conference. We'll find out more about them coming up. Excited. Here we go. I have just checked in at the media center at the Sun and Fun Fly-In in Lakeland, Florida, halfway between Orlando and Tampa on Route 4. This place is huge. I got checked in at the media center. It's an absolutely beautiful day, about 8:30 in the morning. And I took a walk out to where the airfields are, and there are thousands of planes out there just camped. There are planes with tons of tents set up right under the wings. People who flew in from all around the country and the world who just camp underneath their plane, which is kind of cool. All different types of planes, from little Piper Cubs to bi-wings to jets to everything. I mean, there's everything out there, and literally thousands of them. I'm watching right now as airplanes are flying over, kind of constant stream. And I saw some of the stunt teams were up practicing earlier in the morning for the air show this afternoon, which I'll bring you some of the sound of and some videos of. Keep an eye on the Finding Florida podcast Facebook page for all the videos here from the Sun and Fun Fly-In. Next up for me is I'm heading out to a press conference for the Blue Angels. Many of you have seen the Blue Angels at air shows around the country and the world, and we get to see them this afternoon, but they're flying in this morning, and they're doing a press conference there, and I'll get you some sound from there next. I'm so excited to be here. Jaime is not here today. She couldn't make it, but I miss you, and we'll be talking to you soon from the press conference for the Blue Angels. Well, the Blue Angels and the Navy Flight Exhibition Team are made up of F-18 Hornets. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Have you ever seen them?
Mm-mm.
No? Well, it was started in 1946. The Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Chester Nimitz, who some of you may remember from World War II, had a vision to create a flight exhibition team right after the war in order to raise the public's interest in naval aviation and to boost Navy morale. This was right after World War II was over. And since 1946, the Blue Angels have performed for nearly 500 million fans. We got to see them up close and personal. Got to stand right beside one. And we got to see the support plane, which is a huge C-130 called Fat Albert. That's brings all the people around and all the crew and all the equipment. Plus, we had a chance to speak with one of the pilots, Major Jeff Mullins. And let me tell you, Jemmy, these pilots are stamped out of a mold. They're all good-looking, tall, thin, have personality
why wasn't I there
galore.
Again? Why
I don't
wasn't I
know.
there?
I don't know why you weren't there because they're all like my co-host for the Horses in the Morning show. Jamie's husband is an ex-fighter pilot, and they all look the same, and they all talk the same, and they're all so nice, and they're all good-looking. But anyway, here is Major Jeff Mullins.
I joined the Blue Angels in 2017. I started flying with them in November of 2017 as the number 3 pilot, the left wingman. I was the left wingman for the 2018 season. I'm the slot pilot, and Blue Angel number 4 for the 2019 season. So overall, probably about a year and a half total.
How long is the stint with Blue Angels?
The stint on the Blue Angels is between 2 to 3 years. Our pilots spend 2 years flying the demo, and our other officers serve for about 2 years. Our C-130 pilots serve for 3 to 4 years sometimes. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I grew up in a family of pilots. All 4 of my brothers are pilots. My dad's a pilot. So it was just kind of in the blood that, we were going to fly one day. My dad was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam.
Okay.
And when I was a kid, I saw the Blue Angels flying. That was my first exposure to kind of, actually seeing fighter jets. I just knew I wanted to fly in the military. I saw the Blue Angels fly, kind of steered me towards the Navy, Marine Corps. I really just wanted to serve my country and do the best possible that I could flying Hornets. And I got to do that, and kind of led me here. The great thing is, regardless of whether you fly or not, we have an awesome team here of about 130 sailors who help these jets fly and help us put on a great show. A lot of people don't know is our jets have a spring attached to the stick to give more weight to the flight controls. So it's actually harder, or actually requires 40 pounds of backwards stick pressure to keep the stick centered. So the entire time we're flying is like holding a 40-pound dumbbell. That allows us to fly very precise and close, to where on the Diamond 360, which is one of the first passes the Diamond does, we fly less than 18 inches apart. Well, about 360 miles an hour.
And now a little sound from the Blue Angels.
Are you ready to watch the Blue Angels, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, come on, that was poor. Let me hear it. Are you ready for the Blues? Here they are.
He's from Reed City, Texas. Captain Eric Doyle. On the right wing, Lieutenant James Haley from Canadian, Texas. Number 3, Lieutenant Jim Cox from Chesapeake, Virginia. He's the right winger. And the slot pilot, Major Jeff Mullins from Memphis, Tennessee.
So, Jemmy, at this point in the day, my brother and I got some lunch, and then I saw a poster hanging up. And I said, well, that's interesting. You can actually do stuff like rides here. Well, some of the rides on some of the airplanes went up to $1,500 for 10 minutes. And I knew that was a little off budget. So we found one that looked innocent enough, and it looked like it was going to be fun. It was only $90. So I said to my brother Wayne, who's terrified of heights and doesn't like flying, why don't we do this $90 one?
Let me ask you a question. Did it ever occur to you that perhaps the cheaper the flight, the less safety equipment was involved?
Well,
Did that cross your mind?
Well, we decided to sign up for, certain something, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But let's just say my brother regretted it. But first, I met some interesting people at the show, and here are a few of them. Well, one of the cool things about coming to the Sun and Fun Fly-In is the vendor area. And one of the people I really wanted to talk to was somebody that does what's called aero adventures or self-fly safaris. So I'm not an airplane guy, so what is a self-fly safari?
Well, you get yourself to Johannesburg, South Africa to start, and then we will rent you a Cessna 182 and set up a route to 4 or 5 different bush lodges in South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi. Depends on where you want to go.
And I can fly myself?
You need to get your license validated so that you're legal and insurable in a South African registered plane. And when you do that, we give you the keys to the plane. The route's been set up, kick you out of the nest, and off you go.
How cool is that?
But if you aren't a pilot or you don't know a pilot, then we will get you a South African pilot, and you can do the same trip.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
So I could go do that not being a pilot?
You can go do it without being a pilot, but the thing about flying in a little airplane in southern Africa is you're able to go directly to your lodges. You take out all the wait time when you have to get on a charter plane or a commercial plane.
Plus, you get to see everything along the way.
You do. And
I mean, when you're in a Jeep or whatever heading out there, you only see what's immediately around you. In a plane, you see everything.
And you get to fly low.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic trip. You land, there's a Land Rover there, the lodge picks you up, and then they're going to really show you around so you can see elephants, and you're going to see leopards and lions, and it is thrilling. That's all I can tell you. Most people come back and say it's the best vacation they've ever had.
Okay, that's really cool. Who knew that this even existed? So do you guys get to go a lot yourselves?
We did. We've been doing this for 25 years now, and we haven't lost anybody yet. So if you're the first one to do that, if you come down, don't
I'd be the one.
First. No.
Well, as soon as we start our show, Finding Africa, we'll definitely have to do that.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you if they're interested?
www.selfflysafari.com. Home base for us up here in the U.S. is near Albany, New York.
Well, I met Bill on the way over to interview the pilots for the Blue Angels, and Bill is here with his wife. And who do you represent here?
Midwest Flyer Magazine.
But you've been a pilot forever.
1959.
1959. Why did you become a pilot?
Well, it's interesting. I never had thought about it. My dad was a career Army officer, and when I came back, we were my last year of high school. We were in Paris, France, and so I came back to go to college, and I came back by military air, and I thought, 18 hours with one stop, that is so much better. We went over by boat, and it was 9 days, and so I thought, that is really slick, and so that kind of got me interested, and I started out in ROTC at the university and Air Force, but at the end of the second year, they said, oh, by the way, your commitment's been changed from 3 to 5 years. I said, no, that wasn't a deal. At 20 years old, 5 years sounded like
a long time.
So I switched to the Army, and they had a flight program. It was still 3 years, and I flew helicopters in the Army for 3 years, and then in the reserves for a while, too.
So helicopters much different than fixed wing. You came out. Did you ever fly helicopters again, or did you switch back to fixed wing?
I flew helicopters in the reserves until about 1974.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
which do you prefer?
Well, it depends on what you're going to do. If you really want to go somewhere, you want to go on an airplane. If you want to go out and have fun, you go on a helicopter. I guess if I was just going to go out and play this afternoon or fly over to Winter Haven or something, I'd like to go by helicopter.
And you and your wife moved here from?
We lived in Peoria, Illinois.
And now you moved to Sarasota. Beautiful, yes. By the way. Yeah. Best beach in the world.
Yes, that's what they keep saying.
But you're also still flying, and you belong to a club.
I'm still flying. We have a group on...
An informal club.
Yeah. We have a group on Thursday mornings that meet at 10 o'clock, and they're virtually all retired military or retired airlines or both. And we have a briefing, just like we used to have in the military.
Oh, really?
We got a chalkboard up. Okay, our target today is Bartow, and they got the runways drawn on the frequencies, the weather, and so we get briefed, and then we go to Bartow. And in season,
So you fly over for lunch?
Yeah, we all fly over for lunch. We only go to airports that have lunch or have restaurants on the field. We have a concierge. He calls ahead to tell them how many we're going to have for lunch so they can set up for us, because most of them aren't planning on having 30 guys show up.
And tiny airport restaurants are tiny.
Yes. and then he also calls the fuel supplier and says, we got 30 airplanes coming in. Can you give us a break on fuel?
Well, we determined on the bus on the way over that boats are the most expensive toy, and airplanes and horses come in a second, right there, tied for each other. That's what we determined on the way over.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. What's the name of your publication that you're working for?
Midwest Flyer Magazine.
Midwest Flyer Magazine.
From behind the crowd and overhead, we're going to see the final pass of the United States Navy's legacy flights.
Things I wanted to make sure I found here at Sun and Fun was the Great Lakes Drone Company. And why? Because you guys do a new kind of show that's new to air shows and new to events all over the country. I have Matthew with me. You guys do drone shows. So for those that have never seen one, what's a drone show?
So a drone show consists of multiple drones, which from the FAA standpoint is triggered by 2 or more Yeah, because you're only allowed to fly one at a time. So 2 or more that we fly just with one pilot, and we coordinate some type of design and color design. It's kind of like pixel art in the sky.
Because you use smoke canisters and things on them, or not?
During the day, that's something that we're working on. It's not FAA approved yet. We're working with the FAA on getting approval to do some daytime shows. However, there's a lot of design aspects and innovation that's still going on to make that happen.
So you're doing mostly nighttime with lights?
Correct.
Yeah. So each drone is talking to the computer separately?
Correct.
That's got to be interesting Wi-Fi connections and Bluetooth.
Yes. So we run a encrypted. We're probably one of the few ones that do this. We run a encrypted Wi-Fi channel that's self-built, and we coordinate with all the drones. All the drones have like their own unique identifier. So we create what's called like a mesh network to communicate with all the drones, and then we put some safety features in there for all the wonderful hackers that are out there these days.
I never thought about trying to hack you.
Yeah, to avoid any issues with that. And but we go up to 200 feet up in the sky and create different shapes depending on who the client is, whether or not it's a private show or a public show.
They can do like their company logo if
we do that quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So how many drones will be in your show today?
The show that we're doing for Sun and Fun is 60.
60. Wow. And what's the most you've ever done?
We did 100 over Niagara Falls.
Wow. Oh, that must have been pretty cool over Niagara Falls.
Yep. And we're authorized for up to 200.
That is so cool. Well, good job. This is really cool stuff. It must be interesting programming it, too.
This show took us 6 weeks to program with 4 programmers at 20 hours a week.
Wow! Where can people see videos and stuff like that?
So you can go to www.greatlakesdronecompany.com. We have links there.
There goes the boss, number 1, headed directly out to the west.
And here's Glenn's highlight.
So now it's time for the thrill and terror segment of our show, the point where it is time for Wayne and I to do our ride. What'd we ride
I'm just
in?
excited that finally I'm not involved in the thrill and terror.
Yeah, we would have got you screaming, that's for sure. So we decided to do a Huey ride, a ride in a Vietnam-era Huey helicopter, which everybody has seen and heard. They have that thump, thump, thump of the rotors. And we thought, well, that'd be cool. We'll just sit in a helicopter. I've done helicopter rides before. What we didn't know when we signed up is that there are The back doors of the Huey are open, and there's 4 seats on each side facing out. So you're basically a half a foot, where your feet go, to out of the helicopter.
I think we just answered the question of why Jenny wasn't there.
And I thought, well, that'd be cool because we'll be tied in with a harness and, it'll be like a roller coaster ride. Nope. It was the Vietnam era lap seat belt that had been around since Vietnam. So they put you...
Original manufacturing?
Yes. They put you in these seats facing out with the door open. The world's right there. And they come around.
And the ground. The ground is also there.
About 2,000-3,000 feet down. So they hook your lap belt for you, and then they give you instructions, which, well, we're going to hear a little bit more about that coming up. Here is our flight.
Gentlemen, y'all's hats. You need to put your hats in the box.
All hats, backpacks, anything that is not tied to your body or that you can secure to your body has to go in the thing, including sunglasses that are loose. Okay, let's talk about cameras real quick since you're holding one out. If you're going to take pictures, we encourage everybody to take pictures, but keep it close to your body. Okay, don't, like a lot of people want to do the cell phones and hold them out here, gone. Just like that. You're not that strong, trust me. Okay, this is a 1965 UH-1 Iroquois. It is a Vietnam War veteran. It has been shot down, but it got better. It runs pretty good now. We operate under an FAA experimental flight certificate with a ride waiver, so we are allowed to ride rides in it, and we're also insured as well. So we got that part covered. When we walk out into the aircraft, you'll notice that we're loading hot. Do not put your hands in the air like you just don't care, because you will. And then we'll all go home after several hours of debriefing and investigation. Also, we're going to take you out to the aircraft. We'll split you in 4 to the side, put you in the aircraft. We use military-style seat belts. They're a little bit different. They're a hook and latch type belt. We will get you in and latch the belt. You can grab the seat rails, you can grab the seat belt, or you can grab your new best friend's leg right next to you and squeeze real hard. We'll all be much better friends after. Thanks for coming out. Yes, sir.
Tell us about the Jesus nut. I'm sorry, I'm just an ex-crew chief, so...
Yeah, I think we need to hear it. Yeah, tell us, Coach.
There's a Jesus nut on the top. It's about that diameter, about 5 inches, and it's torqued to 560 inch-pounds, and
that basically holds
wire.
the stack together.
So if that nut goes, then the pilot's going to say Jesus.
Everything else kind of follows.
And then the rest of us are going to say Jesus. And we're all going to be praying.
It worked good for them, so...
Got off the Huey after our ride. Now let me tell you about the setup in this Huey. There are 4 seats on each side facing out with no door. So your feet are dangling outside the helicopter. And my brother Wayne, you looked a little terrified at first. How did you make out?
I was happy it landed.
It was interesting when he turned our direction and banked the thing, and we're just looking straight down with nothing but a seatbelt holding us in our seat.
Yeah, I was not trusting the seatbelt. That was as old as me.
Yeah, it did look old, I gotta say. But it was a trip. It was so much fun, and the view from up there is really cool. Florida is flat. That's what I learned today. Florida is flat. It's very, very flat. Well, it was fun. Was it worth $90?
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
All right, you'll never do it again?
Now that I know what to expect, I might do it again.
Okay, all right, good. I don't think we're going to get our wives on it anytime soon. All right, bye, Wayne. Well, that's it from the Sun and Fun Fly-In. Now off to the Hatsume Fair with Jaime this time.
Need a convenient and delicious dessert? Look no further. Grab a cheesecake jar from Leanne's, a local Tampa-grown company shaking up dessert. They bake a single slice of New York cheesecake right in a jar to keep it from getting cold on hot Florida days. It's genius. We both tried some for ourselves back at Podfest and truly loved it. And then they met us out in Tampa and gave us more. So we love them now even more. Thank you so much, guys. Find Leanne's on social media as Cheesecake the letter N, more. Cheesecake and more. And look up the Central Florida location nearest you to find their yummy jars. Their website is www.leannscheesecakesandmore.com. That's LEANNS, cheesecakes, the letter N, more.com. Or give Joseph a call at 813-445-3861 for your treat in a jar.
Jimmy, I found you.
You found me!
I had to fly down.
Practically.
I had to fly down from the air show to do our second festival in this episode.
Yeah, it's the Hatsume Fair 2019, and it's a Japanese celebration of spring, and it's happening right here at the Morikami Museum, which is practically in my backyard. It took us like 25 minutes to get here. It's in Delray Beach. I love the Morikami. This is prime field trip grounds for anybody who was raised in my generation down here in South Florida. You have been to Morikami, and I'm so excited that you found me here, and we are finding a little slice of Florida here together. We're going to check out
of Japan.
Little slices of Japan into Florida. We're going to check out.
As we talked about earlier, there's a history here. We went over all of that, which is really cool. But now we're here for the first thing, which is the drums.
The drums. We're going to kick off the beats.
And there is one big ass drum. Look at the size of the one drum.
It is massive, and I would do anything to take a huge fuzzy mallet thing to that drum myself. I might have to ask for a quick favor after the show, but
so to set the scenes, this whole property here is set in the woods, and it's a garden.
It's like how many acres?
It's 18 acres of garden, and it is packed.
It is packed.
We were surprised how many people.
And
it
is very, very hot today. However, there are so many really tall pine trees that is actually giving us a nice bit of shade, so it's not too terrible.
And I was really happy to see that there's a lot of Japanese food stands and not just all Italian sausage.
I know, right? The normal stuff, the normal fare stuff that you would see
outside. We're going to try some of that, and we'll let you know.
And we'll also see people in costumes.
Lots of anime character costumes.
In Japan, cosplay and anime are big, big things, and we see some of that walking around here. So we can't wait to run into some people and talk to them about their costumes and take some pictures and act like fools. So let's get into this Japanese spirit at the Hatsume Fair 2019.
Do you know any Japanese?
Konnichiwa, is that Japanese? I have no idea.
Did you just swear at me?
I don't think so. I think I said hello, but we'll find out. Please email me. Let me know what I just said to Glenn.
Okay, and now it's time to listen to some taiko drumming by Ronin Taiko.
Let's start with the beats.
This next song that we're going to do is a little bit upbeat. Feel free to clap your hands. Then we're going to have a little surprise for you guys, and then we'll finish with our last song called Echoes. But thank you guys again. We are Ronin Taiko. Enjoy.
Running into an old friend from episode 8B back when we found the fancy in Fort Lauderdale. Y'all may remember our interview with a special mermaid named Medusa Rena, and I was like, wait a minute, we see her on stage and she's doing something else new, and you go by a different persona.
A little?
So let's explain who you are here at the Morikami now at the Hatsume Festival. We've got the drumming going, and we have Medusa Rena. Hello again.
Hi there. So nice to see you.
Great to see you. What did we just witness? What was that?
Well, You just saw a performance with taiko drums, or drums. Literally, taiko means drum in Japan. You saw a taiko performance.
Wow.
On stage.
And your husband is the sensei?
He is. He and I, we founded the group back in 2006, and we co-founded it. And there's several other members that had co-founded it at the time. We built a core group. Since then, we have become an academy also, where we provide other people with education on taiko. They learn about the history.
Yeah.
We train in Japan once to twice a year.
Wow.
With sensei over there, and we try to bring it over.
You don't do? My God, you're an artist.
I can work with fire, but I can't cook worth a darn.
I was saying, you're underwater, no breathing, above water, fire breathing, and also drum beating. That's what I said.
All of it.
And so here's my question, because I know you integrate, you care about the history, and all of that. We were talking about that when you're talking about the movements, and you used to work the Maikai, the Polynesian restaurant, the dancing movements, and all that. So you love the history.
Yes.
There's a lot of history that goes into drumming, and I walked away thinking there has to be maybe some war history about why the drums were important. Like, so there's this really tied to their culture. Yeah. Why is this so important for you to be bringing this about?
It certainly is. In Japan, it certainly is the pinnacle, the center of the, not just the culture, but the style. It's actually, based on religion as well as used during, wartime, also used for celebrations. Taiko is pretty much essential in just about everything. It's a really major part of Japanese culture.
Did it identify the houses too? Did they have certain, songs they would do for the certain houses?
Prefectures would have their own individual songs that were best known for. Some of them were known for playing in a specific style, be it miyake style, which is where, it's a very low stance and you play in that way. They'll play in a festival probably the entire day, that one particular rhythm, which is distinct to that prefecture, to that group, to the family, for example. So there are always different positions that drums can be played depending on the origins of them. Things such as yatai position, which is a seated position. We look like we're kind of doing a perpetual sit-up to a lot of folks. That position is actually played in floats, for parade floats.
By the way, 95% of us can't do that position.
It certainly doesn't go without a lot of training.
Honestly, so he's called a sensei, and I hear the word sensei, and I'm thinking, like a karate dojo or something like that. And there is a lot of strength, and it's very physical what you guys are doing up there on stage. It takes lots of training.
It does.
I know. So they can come to you guys for that training, right? It's
absolutely.
an actual center.
We have an academy. Yeah, absolutely. The word sensei is actually an honorific word. So even not just teachers, doctors, all sorts of folks are known as that. So it's a very nice way of, to address a person. It's a very tip of the hat. It's quite nice. But in our case, yes, we do have an academy, and it is located in Fort Lauderdale. In fact, next week we have an open house on Sunday where you can come try the drums out, see if you like it, and maybe you'll join us on stage.
That was a free open house too, right?
Yes, it is.
Where can they find it? What's the
free.
website?
That is ronintaiko.com, RONINTAIKO.com, and you'll find all the information you need in there.
So we're going to play a little bit of a little more of a taste for our listeners right now. Yeah. But man, I say that I'm a multifaceted woman. You are a multifaceted woman.
Yes.
So this is Ronin Taiko, right?
Correct.
And you are fire breathing, mermaid swimming, drum beating, Medusa arena.
Check.
Well, can I clarify though? She wasn't on stage with her tail on.
not
playing the drums.
at
No,
not this. We saw her feet. Apparently, mermaids do have feet when they come out of the water.
Well, as you may have noticed, they're quite large.
Well, speaking of which, and you're leaving here. This is a workout you had today, and you're going to run a half marathon.
This is correct. Yes, I call it dumb planning, but I just happened to do it. I signed up.
That sounds like our adventure all the time.
You're going to have to get up at 1 a.m. to do it.
This is correct.
It's crazy
the corrals
over there.
are really early, and
so I
have to drive 3 hours to Orlando immediately and get ready to do that race.
Wow.
Then fly to Arizona to do a workshop with some people over
You're
there.
insane.
So it's gonna. It
sounds like the only thing we have in common is that we can't cook. So yay!
We're the same club. I tell you, you put us near a kitchen, you'll see a mushroom cloud. That's the only mushroom you get out of me.
Have fun and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Woohoo,
wave to Mickey for us, all right?
Arigatou gozaimashita.
we're at the Hatsume Festival in Morikami, and we just found, so first of all, there are people walking around in all kinds of costumes today, and it's a dazzle for the eyes, and honestly, a very big curiosity because it is hot out here, and we found two people who are decked out to the nines. Erica and Roy. Hello, Erica and Roy.
Hello. How's it going?
Good, good. So I noticed this big, you not only are dressed in costumes, but you have props. Roy, please tell us about this. What you're dressed as and what describe it for the people.
I'm dressed as an inkling from Splatoon. So basically like a squid person. Basically.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of ink, like squids have ink.
Yeah.
But my main point in life is to ink everything to get my turf.
Yes.
I have to claim my turf
exactly.
with ink. So this giant thing is a giant roller, like a paint roller.
I'm telling you, it is a huge paint roller.
It is a huge paint roller.
It's maximum coverage, as you can see. Maximum coverage.
I love it. So we were at the Miami Boat Show and ran into a bunch of squid heads, and now we run into a huge squid. Literally, we did.
Squid seems to be our thing, apparently.
Why the squid? Why are you attracted to this character? Why'd you want to dress up? What's the deal with doing it here?
Honestly, I got the game recently. I got a Switch for Black Friday, and I started playing Splatoon. I was like, this game's amazing. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm cosplaying next.
There you go. There you go.
Really all that happened.
Okay, I'm 6'1". He is 6'3", at least. Yeah. So any guy in pink that's 6'3", the size of him, carrying that large a paint roller of pink,
I know what
gets
you're
a lot
dressing
of
up on the next episode, Glenn.
Too. I kept the beard also.
We're almost twins, actually.
So, Erica, why Morikami? Why did the Hatsume Festival? How did you hear about this thing while you here?
Well, I've been coming for the past 4 years, and it's one of my favorite events during the springtime to come out and cosplay and see my friends and everything.
So cosplay is really such a popular thing. It's becoming more and more popular every year. I didn't even know this was going to be a cosplay event. Do you think this event is on purpose a cosplay event, or do you think it's the attendees like you have made it a cosplay event?
I believe it's the attendees that have made this into a cosplay event.
Y'all took over.
Yes, we're everywhere, as you can see.
So tell us
how many opportunities to get to dress like that,
Demi? I know. So Erica, how are you dressed? Please describe.
I am Gym Leader Valerie from Pokemon X and Y series.
Oh my gosh, my kid is going to be so mad he wasn't here to meet you.
Quite a large
Quite a get up. I mean, are these wings and stuff practically? You look like the
German Festival.
Yeah, a mix between German Fest and a butterfly outfit.
She's not drunk enough to have been there.
No. Oh my gosh.
To the sake bar yet?
Oh, so
is that coming?
I hope so.
Is that what y'all are looking
I'll buy you one after
next?
this.
No, I mean, I'm just looking around for cosplays and stuff, taking pictures.
Very
having
cool.
A good time.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and we hope y'all have a good rest of your time at the Hatsume Fest.
Have fun. Enjoy the sake.
Bye.
So we're about halfway through the day here at the Japanese Festival. And you just heard from some of our cosplay friends, our new cosplay friends.
I mean, you can't have a Japanese festival without it, apparently.
You lit up. By the way, geeks and nerds are your specialty.
You're Glenn the Geek, but no. Everyone needs to understand.
You seem to be more comfortable around nerds.
They're my people. They are my people.
They really are. You kind of lit up around them. That's funny. So we did have steak teriyaki, which I have to say was not the best teriyaki I've ever had.
It's festival teriyaki.
Festival teriyaki. And can we do a complaint here in the middle of the show?
Yes, please. I think it is warranted, needed, and must happen. It is our responsibility as travel and tourism pioneers.
Yes. We don't do much negative on the show, but buying tickets at festivals for food is a nightmare.
It is an absolute
I understand
nightmare.
why they do it, because they don't want people they don't want the people in the food stands taking cash. I get it. But it's
it
a
causes
nightmare.
so many problems
It's a nightmare.
for all of your attendees. Problem number one, you have to stand in 2 lines.
Yes.
Not just one anymore, but 2.
And then we get to the thing, and I'm 1 ticket short.
One ticket
and I had to
short.
Go back.
or the opposite, you walk out of the festival with a handful of tickets because you had to buy more than... I mean, it's just a nightmare.
It took us an hour to get food.
It really did. It really did. I mean,
and there are a lot of people here. I give them that. I mean, there's a lot of people here.
But yes, the ticketing thing drives me absolutely insane. Any festival, every time, whether it's for rides, for food, for water, just let me, even if I have to take cash, if you tell me no credit cards, fine. But let me just walk in one line, please. Just one.
That's been the source of frustration.
And another source of frustration, can we figure out a better outdoor bathroom system and porta potties with the fountains outside that have soap but no water?
She doesn't get out much.
Drive me crazy.
So, but right now, actually, we got perked up again when we had ice cream. We waited in line for half an hour for ice cream. It was good.
But it was worth it. It was really good.
We're sitting in the beautiful gardens here. They have a lake, and there's a walkway all the way around the lake, and all the plants are Japanese flavored. Yeah, they are. And they're just beautiful. I can imagine when there's not a festival going on, there's 10,000 people here. This must be so serene and peaceful, and you can come anytime, right?
I mean, yeah, anytime, and it is lush. When you think of a lush garden, this is it. Like, I believe they do weddings here and everything because it's just absolutely beautiful.
And the walkways are perfect. I mean, you don't need to be a hiker to do this.
No, you don't.
And it's 18 acres. It's big.
It is very big and teeming with attendees right now. Yes. But we have found ourselves a quiet little rock bench because we are going to try something very yummy
we found
and
something
tasty.
to gift shop.
So
we were trying to go to watch the martial arts. But
the room was full.
It was full. They weren't even letting us in. No press, nobody. We couldn't get in.
But we did turn around and find a huge, long table full of all kinds of candies and treats, all from Japan.
Yeah, this one happens to be from Kasaki Seika Company in
I'm sure you're not pronouncing that at all.
Nagoya, Japan.
Yeah, whatever.
And its name is Ukujindi.
That's because it is in Japanese writing.
It's Ukujindi.
Neither one of us to read. But they're, what are they? Translate.
Gummy candy. And it's gluten-free, so I'm good. So you hold the mics.
I will hold the mics.
I'm going to open the package, and we're going to try them on the air. See if they taste like peach gummy candy in America. Assuming they all taste... Oh, they're individually wrapped.
Oh, again. Okay. 2 lines for food, 2 wrappings for candy. I see a consistent issue here.
It's about the size of a dime, and it looks like a little gummy candy.
It looks like a cough drop.
It does kind of look like a cough drop.
Like the sugar-free candies your grandma had in a dish.
Here, you hold that one.
You got
I'll
from
get
the
another
dentist.
one out. They're individually
But they're
wrapped.
gummy, not hard.
They're going to stay fresh. Sorry about that. I dropped my mic.
You can't do more than one thing at a time.
We haven't even had any sake because the line was so long. We needed more tickets.
It's true.
So, all right, here we go. We're trying the peach gummy candy called Rajma.
Okay, dropping the bombs right now.
That was really good.
All right, first thing I noticed, unlike American candy, this actually tastes like the fruit it's named after.
It is. It's peachy.
It actually tastes like a real peach.
It does. It's really good. Here, have another one. It's really good.
It's delicious.
This is the best thing we've had all day.
So go to your local Japanese grocery store and buy some delicious peach gummy candy. We'll put a picture in the show notes to at least know what it looks like. It's very good. And it's gluten-free.
It is. It's really good. Sorry about eating on air, but we're hungry for something that was peachy.
And these are so good. I'm going to have a third.
And we're going to eat these all the way around.
All right. Yeah, we're going to get up from this rock bench and keep walking and keep eating.
Well, we had to talk to somebody that does bonsai while we were here, and we found Jerome from Bonsai Supply, and you will notice that when Jerome talks, he does not have a Japanese accent. Not quite Japanese. What accent are we hearing?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. How does a Switzerland guy end up doing bonsai trees?
Very good question. So my mom actually used to live in Japan before I was born, and then she taught me growing up. And so I was born and raised in Switzerland and then came here to the States when I was 17.
And bonsais are known for being around a long time, the little trees, and I think everybody kind of knows what we're talking about. So I assume when she started teaching you, you still have some of those.
I sure do.
So how old are they then, these trees?
I have, my oldest one is over 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Whoa!
Obviously, my mom didn't start that one either. But
that'd be great-great-grandmom that started that one.
Yes.
They're like individual art projects almost.
They are,
they're art. It takes a lot of art to create something like this. So when you're talking about your mother working on a tree and then you working on a tree, it's like this living art project that's just continuously evolving. That's so neat.
So you need to have some horticultural, some botany, and then art. 2 of those can be taught and 1 not really. which is the art one.
Which is the hardest part.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've learned that because we're not good at any of it. So, so what kind of trees? Are there a certain kind of tree that ends up being a bonsai tree?
No, so bonsai is a Japanese word, and it literally means tree in a pot. So that's the whole translation.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mind blown, right?
Yeah, wait, I learned something new today.
Home Depot is full of bonsai trees.
They just aren't trained yet. So how many times a year, I don't know if it's a dumb question, but how many times a year do you trim them?
It depends on the species. Some species, like a sea hibiscus, for instance, we defoliate and trim like every other week.
Oh, wow.
But then there's like a desert rose, we trim maybe 3 times a year only. So it really depends.
So as you are trimming these trees over so many years and developing relationships with them, do you end up with a favorite tree? Do you have a special tree?
Never. I love them all equally.
They're all listening, Jerome. They're all listening.
I know
his wife's listening too. So that's funny. So they can live so long. Do you get bored with certain trees?
Never.
No?
No.
No, really?
I love them all equally.
So why do most people come in and say, I want a bonsai tree? What's most people's reason for wanting one in their home? And have
different reasons. You know, some people do martial arts and their teacher tells them to get a bonsai tree. Some people, you know, they just want to have something different at home. We get a lot of people that also buy the trees, you know, as gifts, like real estate agents that just sold a house.
That's a good idea, actually.
Or people that have weddings.
It's different.
Like we do weddings, so we have centerpieces or the favors. And so, I mean, even for birth or death, so we have people come into the store for any reason to buy a tree. We've seen it all pretty much. So.
And I assume a lot of people just suck after and it goes to pot, literally.
You know, we call bonsai is kind of like has the potato chip effect. You know, you can't just have one, you know. So you buy one, and then you buy another one, and then you need another one, and then pretty soon
I would be buying the other ones because I've killed the first ones, is why I'd be buying the second
That's
one.
also a reason, yes. That could also be a reason.
This is a little-known fact about Glenn. He has a garden at his house, and he tends to it very delicately. So I'm wondering, does someone who's a natural gardener, has a green thumb, are they the ones who are going to be able to deal with the bonsai tree and take care of one? Is it always going to work out?
So a lot of people actually think that, you know, caring for a bonsai tree is, you know, that really difficult thing and you need to have a master's degree in horticulture. It's actually quite the opposite. It's super easy. You treat a bonsai tree the same way that you would treat a human being, right? We need
so like I do her, ignore her and hope she goes away?
Let's go.
Or like I do him and smack him every once in a while?
Let's go with the way you would treat yourself, okay? So you need fresh air, sunlight, food, and water, right?
Oh, I could live on that. Yeah.
There you go.
After being stuck in a car with you, yes, I need some fresh air.
So do you give classes too? Are there classes?
Every Sunday.
Where are you at? Where are you
in
located?
Oakland Park. Right outside of Fort Lauderdale.
Right out of Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah.
right. So people can come take classes.
Every Sunday, yes. And we limit them to 10 people, and they're full every single Sunday.
Is that right?
So we do recommend that you either call ahead or you go on the website and you book your class ahead of time.
Well, speaking of which, what's the website?
www.thebonsaisupply.com.
Time for a wrap of this particular episode. And I have to tell you, I was sorry you weren't there so I could strap you into a helicopter and have you looking straight down at the ground with a little lap belt on.
I would have stabbed you long before you had a chance to get me in.
I think my brother was ready to stab me at one point. You know, it wasn't too bad until he banked the helicopter, and everybody's seen helicopters bank. And when he banked it our way, you're pretty much looking straight down at the ground with the lap belt holding you in.
So Wayne is your brother. I can imagine growing up in the house with you and being tortured for years one way or another. I've gotten a sense of what that has been like for the last year. I was about to say, see, Wayne, it's not so fun being my substitute. And I realized, no, I've been his substitute for the last year.
Would you have done it?
I think I would have tried to pump myself up, but as soon as I saw there was just the lap belt, all bets would have been off. I would have been running the other direction. No.
And there was nothing to hold on to either, which was the interesting part. There was no handholds, like you have in a car. They said, don't grab onto anything because it's what it was insulation around the cockpit area. And they said the insulation will just come down on top of your head. So you have to grab onto your lap belt or your leg.
None of that is comforting whatsoever.
So it was fun. The air show was a blast. I highly recommend it. There were thousands of planes there, and it was just really cool to see. It was so much fun for me. I've been going to air shows forever, so I do highly
ears
recommend
popping
it.
Left and right, both from the speed of the helicopter and the sound.
The sound is horrendous. I mean, it's really loud. Those helicopters are really loud anyway, and then it's so windy in there. Like that's why you heard him warning us not to take our cameras out, because if you were holding your phone, you wouldn't have been able to hold it.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to take your camera out on any adventures anymore, because if you're on a moving thing.
I didn't break anything, so I'm getting the impression that you probably wouldn't have went then. That's the final verdict.
I think you're right.
Harnesses, maybe. I think if you were strapped in like you were in a roller coaster, you probably would have done it, but no.
I would have tried. I just, it's embarrassing to be that person who gets into the ride and then last minute freaks out and has to be taken out of the ride. Yeah. I would not want to be that person. And this is an actual military helicopter. I feel like you need to have some courage, and you can't be that. I couldn't be that girl. I couldn't. So I don't know what I would have done.
So now let's go to the fair, to the Japanese festival we went to. That was an eye-opener for me, having really no exposure to anime in my entire life. And to see real grown adults who haven't left a basement in a long time dressed up in anime.
It's an experience, man. I'm telling you, I am all team nerd herd. I loved those people. They were my people.
You were geeking out.
I loved it. I mean, come on. It takes a real nerd to make a Splatoon roller that big out of PVC piping and duct tape. That's commitment. I
were
love
you
it.
surprised at the number of people there in costume? There were a lot.
I was. I didn't expect that. I don't know why I didn't anticipate the cosplay, because cosplay and Japanese culture kind of go hand in hand. I should have anticipated that a little more. Well, you know what I was surprised at? I was surprised how many people were there for cosplay that were doing things other than Japanese-based characters or anything like that. Like, so, I would have expected to see, I don't know, even Power Rangers before I saw, like,
there
Anna
were a lot of Disney.
and Elsa.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a surprise, but seeing the anime in the first place, no, it was great. Any excuse to dress up in costumes, I'm all for it. Congratulations, well done.
Well, next year when we go, you can dress up in anime. Then,
or I can think about it.
I was shocked at the number of people there. Period. It was packed.
Here's the thing. The reason why I put the asterisk and say I have to think about it, because those costumes, as cool as they were heavy
and hot. It was a hot day.
They came with wigs. No, and
it was a hot day too.
So Florida said, "What are you talking about? What are you thinking?" So maybe we'll see. But yeah, it was packed. It was packed, and as big as the grounds are, because there's acres and acres of garden, but it was just teeming with people. It was really nice.
Well, that's it, everybody. We're coming back with another episode this month, though, aren't we? Because you're heading out to a festival here shortly without me.
Yeah, thank God, we're going to keep the festival fun going. So my buddy Virginia told me about the Cajun Fest. And if you remember back to our trip to Crystal River, holy cow, I had like a spiritual moment with that plate full of crawfish.
She had like 12 pounds of crawfish. It was a huge plate. I think you ate every one.
My mouth is watering again. So yeah, and Virginia is an amazing cook, and she's going to be there representing, doing some cooking stuff.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah. There's going to be a stage with music, Zydeco music straight from Louisiana. I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. So that is the Cajun Crawfish Festival, and is happening in in Palm Beach Gardens. So if you go to Facebook, you can look it up and hopefully meet me there. I'd love to see people out there. It'll be fun.
That'll be episode 18C coming out in a little while here. They'll find that in their feeds.
And by the way, that festival is to support Little Smiles. And if you listen to the show, then you've heard commercials for Little Smiles, either on this show or other shows on the network. We're a big supporter of theirs. So it's going to be exciting. I'm going to get to talk to some of the people behind Little Smiles at Cajun Fest.
Well, you can find all the episodes of the Finding Florida podcast at findingfloridapodcast.com. You can see all of our pictures that we took. You want to see some anime? We took pictures of anime. You want to see pictures of airplanes? We took pictures of airplanes. So if you want to, one of the things that's really cool is you can go to our website and pick out the episode you want. And Jaime takes a lot of time putting the albums together. And there are hundreds, if not now thousands of pictures there of all of our adventures. So we want you to be involved. We want to hear your ideas. Drop us an email. Where can they email us at?
Jaime, Jaime, at FloridaPodcastNetwork.com, or Glenn, Glenn, at FloridaPodcastNetwork.com, or you can sign up to join us at FPN Insiders in Facebook. It's our closed Facebook group full of fans like yourselves of our shows and of Florida and Florida Man and Florida and all the random Florida fun stuff that we experience around here. So join us in there. It'll be fun. You can leave your comments, give us ideas, and who knows, maybe something you say will end up on the show. And if you find yourself in there and discovering other shows on our network that you want to be a fan of, you can listen to the shows on FloridaPodcastNetwork.com. They're all listed there right on the website. So we look forward to interacting with you all over the internet, on our website, on social media, wherever else we may be, in person or otherwise. But for now,
here's to your next Florida adventure.